Coyote's got 100 hours on it.
Yep, we've had it for a little over a year now. A little dirty right now because, you know, we work with it. That's what a tractor's for. I've done several things with it. Right now we got the forks on the front of it and the backhoe on the back of it. I'll tell you what I've done with it that it's been great for. I'm also going to tell you what issues we've had. If you're looking at buying a newer Kioti, you're going to want to hear a few things I got to say about the bad stuff. And if you're interested in buying a new Kioti, you're going to want to hear what I say about the good stuff too. So here we go. So, first things first, other than the fact you'll notice how dirty my tractor is, we need to turn the key on and see how many hours is on it. So I'm gonna step up here, I'll turn the key on, and if you look right down there, it's gonna show you that it has got 114.1 hours on this tractor. So, there we go, there's your 100-hour mark. Now I'm going to tell you what to expect within 100 hours and some problems I had within that time frame. If you do not have the third function, if you're buying one new, get the third function added. So I done the math going through Summit, and it was like $1,000 for the materials to put third function on your tractor. It was like an $800 add-on, and when you get your tractor, it's on there. You don't have to add it, you don't have to do nothing to it. And the really cool part about that is right here's your buttons. They're part of the factory joystick. There's your open and close. And so the reason I wanted to bring that up is we're going to go over some of the things I've done with the tractor, and that is I got forks on it right now. The reason I got forks, if you notice there behind me, that is an IBC tote full of wood. I got a couple more down there I got to convert over to IBC totes for wood, firewood. That is the only way to handle firewood if you're interested. The forks are great. You can move a whole bunch of firewood at one time. There's one of them right there. So if you use firewood, yeah, IBC totes. But you will use the forks for a lot of other stuff that you really never thought about until you get a set of forks. So go ahead and buy the forks. They're not that expensive of an attachment, and you'll end up using those more than you use your bucket unless you're moving a bunch of dirt. Something bad. When you get your tractor, keep an eye on that. Make sure that's got plenty of fluid in it. A lot of people say they're a little low. Mine was just a touch low. I had to add some fluid to it. So yes, front differential, big thing to keep an eye out for. As you can tell, I keep mine greased. Got grease on it everywhere. Grease your tractor. Supposed to do it every 10 hours with your loader arms and everything. That may be a bit excessive. They recommend every 10 hours. You could probably get by with 15, maybe 20, depending on what kind of grease you're using. But just grease your tractor. There's a lot of people who don't grease them at all and then wonder why they get wore out. That's not a Kioti problem. You can't say, oh, well, my bushings are all wore out and I never put any grease in it. That's your fault. So don't do that. As far as the controls goes, the gearing. Okay, this is a DK. It's the 45 horse DK, and I think it's plenty of power to get me around and everything. High gear, you better be on flat ground. High gear is for tramming out on the road, and sometimes you pick up a little bit of an incline on the road and it almost don't have enough power to pull high gear. So if you're going to spend a lot of time in high gear, get, you know, a bigger DK, you know, 50, 55, 60, whatever is available. I know it's somewhere in those ranges. They probably have different numbers, and I can't remember all the call letters, but I'm fine with it. The 45 horse is fine, but that is the one thing for traveling in high gear, you wish you had a few more ponies under the hood. But other than that, for medium and low, man, low, it thinks it's a bulldozer. It'll dig with all four tires. So I mean, it becomes a traction problem and not a power problem at that point in time. And that's pretty good considering this tractor in this orientation weighs over 6,000 pounds. So, good thing. If you've seen my backhoe video, the backhoe is pretty handy. Yes, I know not everybody needs a backhoe. Yes, I know that a mini excavator does a better job if you're going to be doing a lot of that. It makes a good counterweight, which is not a good reason to buy a backhoe. And it comes with a built-in buddy seat for my buddy over there. So the backhoe is a good attachment to have. So if you're worried about it being weak or anything, I can't speak for all the backhoe attachments, but on the DK, I'm impressed with this one. I do love this right here when you're dealing with 3-point stuff. The fact that you can adjust the level of your 3-point from the back of the tractor to pin in different things. Or I got a quick hitch that I use when I'm using 3-point stuff, and to be able to pull this right here and pull the quick hitch down and back up and put things in from back here, that is awesome. I love having that control. I mean, you also have it up here, but you don't have to reach around the fender to get it. It's right there. So that's pretty nice. When they put the backhoe on, they put a quick dump back into the fluid instead of using the return. So that is one thing they do when they add the backhoe. So if you don't have the backhoe and you're thinking of adding it yourself, check in on doing that. Now, since we're talking about hydraulics under the seat, now we're going to talk about a bad thing that happened. I hadn't had the backhoe too long. I'm down over the hill over there digging out a stump, and I'm talking good sized stump. The front of the tractor wouldn't lift it, all right? Which you're thinking, well, that's not saying a whole lot. That thing might not lift a whole lot. I handle 1,500 pound round bells, no problem, even soaking wet. It'll lift like 2,600 pounds to the pin is the capacity rating on these tractors. It was a pretty gnarly stump. But I'm digging around, having a heyday, enjoying my new backhoe because I hadn't had it very long at that point. And all of a sudden I smell, what's that? Oh, hydraulic fluid, like a lot of it. I look down, it's spraying all over the ground. My tractor's broke. I panic. I'm having a heart attack. I'm trying to get Jeff on the phone, trying to figure out what's going on because, well, I panicked. I should have just calmed down, took a breath. The seat unbolts. Take these bolts out all the way around. That seat comes out. Your hydraulic fittings for your valving for these right here are underneath the seat. I had an O-ring that gave. Now, oh, it's so terrible. I've never put anything together and accidentally pinched an O-ring before. Yeah, it happens to everybody. The cool thing is my dealer that I bought it from offered to pay for the O-ring, offered to have their mechanic come out and fix it for me, but I wanted to get back to using it, and I live real close to Tractor Supply, so I ran into Tractor Supply, and for like $2.50 I bought a pack of O-rings and put one on it, and we're back in business. So yeah, had a pinch and an O-ring, and it was real easy to change right underneath the seat, and we was back in business again. I've not had any problems since, and that's been a while back. So matter of fact, that's been about, it's August now, that's been about February, March-ish. Yeah, so yeah, doing good. I'll tell you the next mistake I made. We have an old tank here on the farm where we put diesel fuel in it, and before it was an old 4BT skid steer and my old lawnmower and some old tractors, and they don't really care about what you put in them sometimes. And I was mixing 10% used motor oil into my 100-gallon diesel fuel tank. I got a filter on the tank, and the oil's clean when I put it in there, so there's no chance of getting material into the fuel tank. This tractor, I got down to the bottom of my 100-gallon tank, and I sucked up the last little bit, and some of the oil had settled, and I got a heavy oil mixture into the tank. This tractor was not happy. I went through several emission burn throughs where it had to sit and run. Now, my first actual regen process happened in about 40 hours. I was raking hay, and I'd done one of those deals where it comes on the light and says, hey, just keep doing what you're doing. So I just kept doing what I was doing. I was raking hay. That was great. and close to about 70 hours, it came on again. Regen process, and it was the, hey, keep doing what you're doing. I'm like, great. When I got that heavy oil mixture in there, about every time I used the tractor for about a month and a half, it would want me to leave it set and idle afterwards and run through its process. I don't put oil in that tank anymore. Figure that's a wise decision. I don't think it cares so much a little bit, but I sucked up the last bit out of that tank. If I'd done it with a mower, we probably wouldn't have been in that situation. But yeah, I don't run oil anymore, so that was a big thing. You know, regen process, you can't use motor oil. Some of these old tractors will run off motor oil. So my bad, I caused my own problems there. Outside of that, if you don't have a quick hitch and you're running 3-point stuff all the time and you're switching implements a lot, get a quick hitch. I've got a hydraulic top link too. That was an awesome investment. I really like having it for adjustment on your whatever you're using. Especially if you got like rear forks where I was hauling hay bales and stuff, I could stick underneath there and tilt them up and use them like a front set of forks. Guys, it's been great. I mean, it really has been. It's done everything I've wanted it to do. It's not terrible on fuel usage. It's got plenty of power. I run an 88-inch, I think it's an 88-inch bush hog with it, twin prop bush hog. Maybe it's an 84. Anyways, run a bush hog with it, run a blade with it, run a root rake with it, gravel rake or tines, whatever you want to call them, which now I've got it on the back of the little John Deere. Got a set of rear forks for it. I've run several things with it, and I really have not seen it lacking, other than me just wanting a few more horsepower to run some stuff. But I think some of that's the Tim the Toolman Taylor in me. That's not necessarily the tractor's fault. Hydrostat tractor, it pulls great. I mean, you know, you put it down on low range and you're going to drag whatever behind you. You're going to run out of traction before you run out of tractor. Which that's fine. So if you're worried about gear drive versus hydrostat, this thing's got plenty of power, and this is the smallest horsepower DK. So I can't speak for the other models. I can only speak for the DK. The last thing I'll leave you with, if you are from Southern Ohio and you are thinking about getting a Kioti tractor, go see my friends in Nelsonville, Brownie Tractors. They're good people. They've got some nice tractors down there. They'll take care of you. They will ease your woes whenever you get a little ecstatic about a hydraulic leak and kind of make you feel better about it, because I needed a calming goat or something at the time. I was a little worked up. And yeah, go buy a Kioti. Don't believe everybody tells you they're junk, because I've had mine for 100 hours and I've worked it, and it's great. You can't treat it like, you know, like it's a bulldozer, because it's not. You can't beat and bang on it. You can't jerk around at the front end. You can't do that with any tractor, because Dad's Kubota is no different. They'll tear up if you don't use them properly. But if you use them properly, I think the Kioti's just as good as anything else, especially for the money. So, guys, thank you for watching my video. If you got any questions, leave them down below, and I'll do my best to answer them. And if you get you a Kioti, let me know what you think about it. And we'll see you guys later.